The year was 1959. The #1 song was Bobby Darin's Mac the Knife. The car of the year was the wide-track Pontiac. The #1 movie was Ben-Hur. The #1 TV series was Gunsmoke. That same year, the #1 EMS organization in Bucks County was born, Penndel-Middletown Emergency Squad. In 1958, a group of 8 concerned area residents, Augustine Gus D'Ambrosia, Edward De La Rosa, Mary De La Rosa, Robert Chase, Janice Chase, and Irma Brady, began discussing the formation of a new ambulance service for the area of Middletown Township and its neighboring boroughs, Humeville, Langhorne, Langhorne Manor, and Penndel. Over the months that followed, they drafted articles of incorporation that were subsequently filed with the Bucks County Recorder of Deeds on March 25, 1959, marking the corporate existence of Penndel-Middletown Emergency Squad. During the formative months prior to the incorporation, the founders also searched for and acquired a used ambulance, a 1947 Cadillac Superior coach. Through John D'Souza, owner of Triangle Realty at 119 West Lincoln Highway in Penndel, which is now Frank's Auto Tag Service, they were able to set up shop at that location in a garage large enough to house the ambulance and give a minimal amount of space for other squad business. The squad responded to its first call for assistance on June 1, 1959. The organization remained at 119 West Lincoln Highway until larger quarters were obtained from Jack Gleason, owner of Langhorne Realty. The second base of operations was on East Lincoln Highway near Route 413 South. Starting in 1961 and for several years thereafter, Paul Sowerby, owner of Greenwood Dairies, where Team Toyota is now located, provided garage and crew facilities for the squad in a building on his own property.
He was a very, very, very good person to the squad. He gave us that building. We stayed in that building. He actually wanted to build us a building on the back lot. And at the time, Kurt says we should move up the road instead. And that's why we moved up the road. Otherwise, Paul Sowerby was going to build us a building up there and give it to us. The man was phenomenal. Every time we had an event, he would give us all kind of liquids for our event and prizes. The man was phenomenal. You couldn't ask for a better gentleman than he was. We sure missed him when we moved, I'll tell you.
Squad members continued to search for a permanent home and found the nearby property at 616 East Lincoln Highway on April 5, 1968 for $26,950. In fact, in order for the squad to acquire the property at 616 East Lincoln Highway, then Treasurer Kurt Clockenthower Jr. secured loans using his farm as collateral, without his family's knowledge.
Kurt did so much for the squad. Kurt was treasurer before I was treasurer. He groomed me into being treasurer, and he helped the organization. He financed his house. If it wasn't for Kurt, I don't think we'd have what we have today, because he did put his house up so we could have the building that we're in now and the property that it sits on.
Over the years, a third ambulance was added to the fleet, and the squad's volunteers began planning for a more permanent facility to house the apparatus and provide crew quarters and office space. Training has been of the utmost importance to the squad since its inception. Initially, the volunteers learned basic and advanced first aid from the American Red Cross. Drivers took classes in defensive driving from the Pennsylvania State Police. In 1974, 6 squad members completed the first emergency medical technician course sponsored by the Bucks County Emergency Health Council.
I think at the beginning of my time with the squad, we were required only to have basic first aid training initially, but within a year's time of my joining, the emergency medical technician course was developed and became available. And I did take the first EMT class in the lower end of Bucks County. I think there was one running in the upper end concurrently, but 6 of us took the first class. It was Sam Simon Sr., Lorene Hargraves, Dennis Mitchell, John Edgar, and Ed O'Connell and I. And it was at the old Delaware Valley Hospital in Bristol, which is long since gone. But it was quite an experience, a lot of fun. But that was I'm proud to have been one of the first EMTs in Bucks County.
Within a few years, the council began training some of the county's certified emergency medical technicians as paramedics to provide advanced life support. In the summer of 1978, the first paramedic students from Penndel-Middletown Emergency Squad began taking classes at various hospitals throughout the county. Within 18 months, 10 squad volunteers had been certified as paramedics.
Soon after I joined somewhere along the trail, they said they were starting a paramedic class. And I said, oh, well, I shouldn't go, because I said there's other members here that have been around a lot longer than I could. And they said, well, they have an exam. You have to pass an exam. Whoever passes the exam can go. Oh, I said, oh, that sounds fair then. So I got into paramedic class. I don't know what one it was. It was later than Dennis Mitchell anyway.
This was a strong period of growth and accomplishment for the organization. At the same time, the planned construction of a second-floor addition to squad headquarters to support that growth had become a reality. During the squad's rich history, we had been fortunate to have a steady influx of volunteer members. However, in the mid-1980s, many of the volunteer members who had been able to cover the daytime hours during the Monday through Friday work week, notably steelworkers, saw their jobs change, and the ability of the squad to stay in service was sorely tried. On December 23, 1987, we lost our last founding member, Gus D'Ambrosia, who was interred with departmental honors.
With our 50th year coming up, we had a lot of stuff left behind by Gus D'Ambrosia. Books and books of articles. And I started to read through those articles and to kind of get a grasp of what our people went through. I mean, they sold anything they get their hands on, they'd sell it. Easter flowers, peanuts, Easter candy, whatever they get their hands on, they sold it to make the money to run the squad. And I feel fortunate we're able to do what we do now on the backs of those people. And we're able to provide the service and the level of service we do.
The squad had seen many changes since its inception nearly 3 decades earlier. Legal mandates continued to challenge the daily operations. In order to meet the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's requirement to be in service 24 hours a day, the squad entered into a cooperative agreement with Bucks County Rescue Squad in Bristol for the provision of ambulance service. Eventually, the squad made the decision to supplement its volunteer staff by employing personnel to ensure that the community's demand for ambulance service would always be met. With the hiring of full-time staff and its increase in size over the years, a renovation of the crew quarters was in order. Eliminated was the former radio room, where squad dispatchers had answered the calls for emergency service prior to the advent of the county 911 system. A new kitchen replaced the radio room, and the restroom facilities and fire alarm system were updated. Expansion continued at squad headquarters in subsequent years to include an addition to the existing bunk room, the widening of the garage to accommodate larger ambulances, and the enlarging of the billing office on the 2nd floor. As far back as 20 years, the growth potential of the community was recognized by squad and township officials, and plans began for the eventual establishment of a 2nd squad facility in the northern portion of Middletown Township. In an effort to move forward with the project, the squad purchased property in January 2000 at 1450 Woodbourne Road. However, several of the immediate neighbors expressed concern about an active EMS station so close to their properties. The township worked to find a solution, and in 2003, the squad was given permission to establish a substation on a nearby property at 1741 Langhorne Yardley Road that had been donated to Middletown Township by Walter Steyer of Steyer's Orchards. The Woodbourne Road property was sold, and the planning process focused on the Langhorne Yardley Road site. With an agreement in place with the township, the squad purchased temporary housing in the form of a Fleetwood double-wide mobile home and placed it on the land, later adding a detached steel garage to house 2 ambulances. The substation, designated as Squad 167 in the county EMS system, officially opened its doors on June 1, 2004. Since then, Middletown Township moved forward with plans for a joint fire EMS station on the property for Penndel-Middletown Emergency Squad and Langhorne-Middletown Fire Company. Following an August 2008 groundbreaking ceremony, construction of the permanent facility began in October. The squad's executive board, still comprised entirely of volunteer staff, has managed the organization for all of its 50 years. Active riding volunteer members still number more than 30, and there are as many as 20 active volunteers who perform the tedious administrative tasks necessary to run a $2 million corporation. Many of the 25 full and part-time career members started out as volunteers, either at Penndel-Middletown or a neighboring squad. In February 2007, the resilience of the organization's members was tested when Frank White, current president and past chief, suffered a fatal heart attack at the age of 51. Frank had just completed a 5-year tenure as chief and was looking forward to his role as president of the squad. His death not only left members stunned and saddened, it necessitated an immediate change in the elected leadership positions. The relatively seamless transition that followed is a testament to those who took over the helm, President Renee Feliciano and Chief Brent McLaughlin.
This was in the year 2007. Frank White had just become president, and I was vice president, and unexpectedly in February he passed away, and now I stepped up to be president. One thing I can say is I learned a lot about the people during that time because it was lasted the entire year. The support of everyone made it possible to get through that transition at that time.
When Frank White was ready to move on as president, I took over as chief when he moved on to president. Because my wife Eileen was president for 9 years, she had ran her course and was ready to move up and move out, and Frank moved over to be the president, and I moved up to be chief, hoping Frank would be there to back me up for those next couple years, and unfortunately that backup was there for about 2 months until Frank passed away, which is a major hit to the squad, but never did we lose footing on it.
That helm has been manned for half a century by some of the most dedicated and competent people in the community. And the community has been behind them with unwavering financial support. From the handouts at their doors when squad members came calling in the 1960s, coin toss events, the EMS tax, and the subscription membership fund drive, the public has been there.
And thanks to Middletown Township, we probably owe them a very big gratitude for all they've done for us, for insurance-wise for years that they covered, and just so much,
The celebration of our rich 50-year history of committed volunteer service is as much a celebration of our success, but also a celebration of those who have supported us throughout the years so that we may continue to provide aid to the sick and injured every day.
I came to join the squad by virtue of the fact that there was a Courier Times article inviting people to take a first aid class at Penndel-Middletown Emergency Squad. And I was working for the police department, Middletown, at the time, and it just seemed a natural course of events for me to do something like that. So I went to the squad and took the basic first aid class under Gusty Ambrosia, who it turned out was one of our founders. And I thoroughly enjoyed the experience, and I wanted to join the squad at that point. And I was only 19, and at the time, the squad had a rule that said you had to be 21 years of age to join. So Gus said, "Oh, you could just lie on the application." I said, "No, I can't do that. I really can't." And I went on my way and back to my life without the squad. And about a year later, Jim Hargraves, another squad member, was a police officer with Middletown. And he brought an application into the police department, handed it to me, and I said, "Oh, thanks," and I put it in my desk. A couple months went by, and his wife, also a squad member, Lorene Hargraves, came walking in one day and said, "Where's that application?" I said, "It's right here on my desk." She said, "Get it out." "Yes, ma'am. You didn't say no to Lorene Hargraves." And got out the application. She said, "Fill it out." She stood there with her hand on her hip and waited. And I filled it out, and the rest is history.
I joined Penndel-Middletown Emergency Squad back in 1982. And one of the reasons that I joined is because I graduated high school in '81, and I had a lot of free time on my hand, and I'm the type of person that likes to keep busy. And in high school, I had a good friend. His nickname was JR, John Dothert, who is still a member of the Penndel Fire Company. And I also JR taught me a lot of trainer type stuff. And I always had a knack, watched Emergency One with, Johnny and Roy and those type programs as I was growing up, so I always enjoyed those kind of things. So I guess it was destined to happen.
I joined the squad in January 1975. Actually was supposed to be going out drinking with a buddy of mine, and he said, "Hey, I've got one quick errand I need to run," and wound up signing my name on the dotted line.
When I first looked into doing emergency medical service, and I was like 15, I joined Levittown Fairless Hills had an Explorer program, and I joined there. And it just there was people there who are out there today. Mike Moretti was up and coming in that group, and Adam Zizlewski and a couple other people, but just didn't fit me. The place didn't fit my style, and I didn't really like. It wasn't my kind of environment. So, but here you couldn't ride until you're 18 here. So I kind of bailed out of that, didn't do anything for about a year, and then joined here when I turned 18. I joined the squad with the intention of, I didn't know if I wanted to be a doctor or what I wanted to do. So I thought it was a good opportunity to get exposure to the medical community. Where else could I be exposed to not only EMTs and paramedics, but also nurses and doctors and respiratory therapists, because we'd go into the emergency department and see all these people. And I think back then it was a very different collegial environment between EMTs and paramedics and the doctors and nurses, where I think now there's a much different relationship than it was back then. Back then it was very common, they mostly knew who we were, they knew us to see us, they knew our names. So the expectation was that they would say, "Hey, Jer, come look at this. This is kind of cool. Want to help me with this?" And my first suturing was done at Lower Bucks Hospital with a certain emergency physician, which I had never sutured when I was 19 years old. So I think that was why I joined. I joined to test the waters and see if medicine was for me. And then what I learned very quickly was that being a physician was where I thought I'd fit in the best with my personality and what I wanted to do with my life. And
I joined the emergency squad at the invitation of the then president, George Kempf. He and his son belonged to another organization that I was a member of, and George knew that I was a shift worker for U.S. Steel out of the Fairless Works, and asked if I would be interested in joining the ambulance service. It was local and part of the community that I lived in. So 1974, in I believe it was April, is when I joined the squad.
It was in and around 1966. Gus and Ada stopped by the gas station that I worked on, 413, or part-time. And he asked me, "Why don't you come up and join the squad?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." And he said, "Well, come up for the first aid course anyway." So I did. And then I liked it, and we got hooked up, and that was it.
My duty night was on Friday nights, and I trained with Gus D'Ambrosia, Ada D'Ambrosia, and Lauren Wood. And when we weren't out riding an ambulance, we were doing bandaging, practicing bandaging at the squad. That was one of Gus's favorite things to do. I knew how to tie a cravat, and that's what we did.
My senior person was Terry Darby and Ray Williamson. Ray Williamson was also in the car business. And Terry was my senior. Terry did a lot of instruction with me, explaining different pieces of medical equipment that we had on the ambulance, different procedures. And I feel I picked up on those things pretty quickly.
Yeah, my first senior was actually Augie Everett and Amos Wiesner. And that was kind of unique because I was just going through the EMT program and riding with them. And they were from the old school, and all of us new EMTs were doctor wannabes in their mind. And so it was rather a unique relationship in the beginning. But
the finances, when I was the treasurer, they were very slim. In fact, I think our bills were bigger than our income. We would do fund drives. We would walk fund drives at that time. We would stand on the corner on Thanksgiving weekend at 413 and Trenton Road and do a coin toss. And that was a big income for us. And we would take money out of the wishing wells when Oxford Valley Mall was built. And we had many projects. We sold many things. We used to have a carnival where 95 sits today. Every year we would have a carnival for a couple days to make money for the squad.
There's so much that occurred as the chief of the organization, from funding. We used to stand out on street corners, as you've probably heard in other interviews. Can shakes were at the banks on Thursday night in Penndel because they were open till 9 o'clock. And fundraising was a major part of what we did at the organization. Way above the training that was required in any of the ambulance calls, the first thing that we had to do was raise funds to support the organization's ability to move ahead. It wasn't until Lyle Winters, the then fire marshal of Middletown Township, came to us and said, what do we need to do to get you to stop standing on street corners so you can spend more time devoted to the training that was necessary? And through him and other members of the Board of Supervisors and the squad officers, we were able to obtain an annual funding, which was our basis for the operations of the squad in the early 80s.
Lyle Winters, Sam Simons, yes, they would leave their place of business to drive the ambulance. When I was first there, we didn't have drivers all the time. I can remember being in the squad working when I was secretary, and the phone rang and there was an emergency, and there was a Bell telephone man working outside the building. I went over and I asked him, I said, would you drive the ambulance? He said, sure. He got in the ambulance and off we went to the call. It was people like that that helped the organization become what it is today.
People, as I said, we just owe a lot to, and Clerk Clockathor is one of those people. I miss him very much. He was our treasurer for many, many years, and business manager. We actually had a position called business manager at one time, and Kurt had that. And I remember distinctly that anything that came up on the floor for purchase, and we're talking about small things, not ambulances per se, but just little things. We had so little money back then that we used to pay Scrappy's and not pay Simon's one month, and then it was the opposite the following month. So we really were hurting for money. And Kurt kept us on the right track. And we would always just, when something came up on the floor, all eyes turned to Kurt. Kurt, can we do this? And we trusted him. We had such implicit faith in that man. And yes, he put his own home up as collateral for the squad. I mean, who does that? This is the type of individual he was. Forrest Walter was chief when I joined. Excellent man. He never made an on-the-spot decision. Let's put it that way.
It's a long time for him.
Forrest thought things through. Believe me, very substantially thought things through, and he weighed things to the left and he weighed things to the right. He came up with what I imagine was always the right decision. The tribute that our members have paid to those who've gone before us. We've lost several members in my time there. Marie Simon, Kurt Clockenthor, Bruce Lippincott, Jack League, Carol Walsh-Swope, Frank White, Walt Taggart. And when those people pass on, there is a coming together of its members, of the squad's members. It's next to no other.
Things that have changed through the years, I think definitely the funding, our income, we've been educated and with the help of the township, and we've improved in our funding. What's improved tremendously is our training. I think in the early days when I joined, we were the best trained squad, and I think today we are still the best trained squad. But the training has improved. The equipment, the ability to buy equipment that we need today, we can do that, and it helps the squad. And I just think Penndel-Middletown Emergency Squad is the best in Bucks County.
I think it's just the level of care that we're able to give now. I mean, compared to back in '75, there was that. Yeah, the EMTs are a bunch of glorified doctors and everything, but since becoming a paramedic and the additional tools and training that we have, the medications that we can give to patients, they can, in my humble opinion, really change the way things are going for them. I think it's just been pretty mind-boggling, really, what some of the things we can do. I mean, who would have thought 30 years ago that we would have been doing interosseous IVs on people,
Well, when I joined the squad in the mid-'80s, it was still in that transition point. Career squads or paid personnel were still a rarity. This organization, at that time didn't have any paid personnel. We relied on Bucks County Rescue Squad that provided day crew, if you will, Monday through Friday. So we were all volunteer at every aspect, and so what that meant was, much more than you do today. You'd be sitting at home, and your Plectron or pager would go off, and you would go on a call. And I think what's changed the most is just the level, the expectation, if you will, of the community and the municipal government is that there's an ambulance sitting at the station 24 hours, 7 days a week, and that ambulance is always at the ready. When I joined the squad, as you and Kevin and many others, that wasn't the expectation. The expectation was you would, as rapidly as possible, come from home to get the truck out. So it was acceptable when I joined to have Joe Lukens pick me up at home to go on a call. And it was acceptable to have one person sleeping here and one person sleeping at home. Those days are long gone, and now the expectation, really the law, is that you have to have an in-house bunked-in crew, and that's a real big change, I think. So I think mostly what's changed the most is just the expectation from that volunteer method of get a crew as quickly as possible to getting a crew on the street within 2 minutes, which is what we pretty much rely on now. I mean, what's changed the least is the people. If you look around, how many people stay in this organization for years and years and give their entire lives to this place? It's first off it's unbelievable. You look at the amount of time and energy someone who's going to be in a position as president or chief, the amount of time commitment, personal, financial commitment. That's been consistent since day one. You look back at the old pictures from the late 1950s when this organization first started, and you see that they paid out of pocket to buy everything and begged, borrowed, and stealed probably to get as much as they could to get this organization up and running. And still to this day, although we're probably in a different financial situation, it's the people. What makes this place unique and what's changed the least is the fact that we've got, at any one time, 25, 35, 40 people that, if called upon, would come out and help their neighbor.
I think what's changed the most for the squad and the membership is the commitment to training, the commitment to the type of training that is necessary to provide the level of care that we do today. Over the course of the 30 plus years that I've been with the squad, I've seen tremendous changes in equipment, training, skill level, and the ongoing continuing education that's required to provide that care. This is what's changed the most for the organization and is probably the most difficult to keep up with in the ever-changing world of emergency medical service.
The volunteer aspect of this appeals to me because not just coming from the firehouse and being community-based and being in our own township and take care of our own people, it's the family, it's the camaraderie, it's the going out after meeting, it's the whole extended family part of it. It is a great experience for anybody that's never experienced it before. I mean, if you never feel alone because there's always somebody there with you. I mean, no matter what you're going through, there's someone from the squad there. Good, bad, or indifferent, they're by your side.
I think one of the reasons that I've been here as long as I have is because the root of the organization seems to be a specific group of people. Like I said earlier, you develop a friendship, a bond. Maybe a bond's better than a friendship to use. And you do. You feel like it's like my second family. I mean,
I get the paycheck every 2 weeks, and that's certainly an incentive. But I think it's the brotherhood here. There's not many people that I don't get along with here, and it's just, I know that they would do the same thing for me that I would do for them. Like I said, it's the brotherhood, and
it's hard to put in words. I mean, the same thing that keeps you here, Kevin here, and others here. I mean, why am I still here? I'm still here because this is the organization that I grew up with. It's truly a second family. We bicker, we fight, sometimes more than some people than others. But at the end of the day, when the klaxon goes off, we go out the door, we do our job, and that's why I think this place is probably more unique than most other EMS services in Bucks County right now, or quite honestly, probably anywhere. Is that we still have a tremendous family orientation. People know each other. They go out after meetings. They hang out, and I enjoy it. So it's as much a community organization. It's as much about giving back to the community as it is an environment for it to be a hanging out with friends and family.
What keeps me here and wanting to stay is I love what I'm doing.
In 50 years, I'm happy to be here to celebrate the 50th year.
50 years of service to the community is a major milestone because I think we're the only squad to reach 50 years and still be volunteer and not be a majority paid.
All I can say is I was treated all right in the squad by all members, and I think that they were doing a fine job myself for 50 years.
Again, what is most miraculous to me about this organization in the past 50 years is the dedication of the people. And that dedication is still shown today. And again, whether you're compensated for your duties here or whether you do it for as a volunteer, it's the same thing. The dedication is amazing. And what's always amazed me about this place more than any place else I've ever experienced, and I've been to EMS services all around this country, is that when that ambulance goes out, you can never tell who's a volunteer and who's a compensated employee. You just can't tell it. And that's what I think makes us different than probably anybody else, and what makes us such a great place is we have an amazing bonding ability of our personnel, that they're all there for the same common goal.
Well, I think that the organization, as far as our personnel, our people are dedicated. I wish them all the best. 50 years is a major accomplishment. We continue to grow. We continue to have new ideas presented. So these things are all important to how our organization operates and grows. So I think that that's a major milestone, and hopefully that the membership remains as steadfast and as committed to the delivery of pre-hospital health care at the skill level that they have.
I'd like to congratulate Penndel-Middletown Emergency Squad for 50 years of service, starting from 1959 to 2009. It was because of all of you that we are where we are today.
Just to say we've come a long, long way. And I see nothing but good things happen to the squad the next 50 years, you know. It will. You got to have faith.
The people you are about to see are not professional actors. They are members of the Volunteer Ambulance Squad, a group of people dedicated to saving and protecting the lives of the citizens of your community. The action that follows depicts a cardiac emergency. The scenes were staged to show how to protect your loved ones.
What sort of activity? Thank. Gonna get to the ball game. That's a 1:30. We got time for that. Oh, you okay? You okay? Dad, you okay? Where's Dad? You okay? Hey, lady, help! Hey, don't call me an ambulance. There's a phone right over there.
Fire an ambulance 159.
I need an ambulance.
Where at?
Coal Creek Park near the boat ramp. A man's laying on the ground there. He fell.
Okay, what's your name?
Denise Britton.
Your phone number?
757-6776.
Okay, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the parking lot near the launching ramp.
Okay, is he conscious?
I don't know. He's just laying on the ground.
Okay, we'll send the else right over.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Squad 168, Core Creek Park, in the vicinity of the boat ramp, a man down. Squad 168, Core Creek Park, in the vicinity of the boat ramp, a man down, timeout 1000.
Responding to Core Creek Park.
Okay, 1681.
Can I do something for you?
2, 3, 4, 15. Do you know CPR?
No, what's CPR?
Never mind then. Go over and wait for the ambulance. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 10, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 15.
Right there for me and fell. I don't know what happened.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and...
Fire an ambulance.
Yeah, do you have an ambulance responding up to Core Creek Park?
Yeah, Pendel.
The park ranger's on location. You have a confirmed cardiac arrest. The exact location is approximately 50 feet north of the boat launching ramp parking lot.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Squad 168, Mickey Unit 1682 to respond. Core Creek Park, approximately 50 feet north of the boat launch parking lot for a cardiac arrest. Squad 168, Mickey Unit 1682 to respond. Core Creek Park, approximately 50 feet north of the boat launch parking lot, a cardiac arrest, timeout 10:05. 1681, did you copy?
1681, affirmative.
Okay, 1681.
To Bucks County, responding on Med 4, cardiac arrest, Core Creek Park.
Okay, 1682. Say 1682, switch to Med 7.
Switching to Med 7. 1682 to Bucks County on Med 7, as you read.
1682, you're loud and clear, and you read the station.
Loud and clear.
1, 1000, 2, 1000, 3, 1000, 4, 1005, 1, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1, 1002, 1004, 1005, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. 1, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1, 1002, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005,
3, 1000, 4, 1000, 5, 2, 1000, 3, 1000, 4, 1000, 5, 2, 1000, 3, 1000, 4, 1000, 2, 1000, 3, 1000, 4, 1000, 5, 2, 1000, 3, 1000, 4, 1000, 5, 2, 1000, 3, 1000, 4, 1000, 5, 2, 1000, 3, 1000, 5,
You need any help with that?
Yeah.
Think these people know what they're doing?
Tell me to move.
Get my glasses.
Back on his chest. You got another unit coming?
Yeah, we have the advanced life support unit coming.
He's jogging up the hill. He's had a past heart condition. We were out jogging today. He came up the hill, started having pain, collapsed.
Start CPR right away?
Yeah, just as we were coming up the hill.
Okay, I'll tell him as soon as he comes.
Nobody around here knew how to do CPR. Got any relief until the ranger got here.
Well, at least he was trained. Makes a lot difference.
Switch.
It's a good thing you knew.
3. Next. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000.
Scan 1682, DVMC's on the line.
Okay, Buchanan.
4, 5, 6, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Here comes the other ambulance.
4, 1,000, 5,
Bags ready.
1682 DVMC.
DVMC, go ahead, 1682.
DVMC, we have a male mid-50s in cardiac arrest. Onset was precipitated by jogging. CPR was initiated immediately upon collapse by the victim's son and is still in progress. Stand by for a strip.
Okay, 1682, I copied that. I'm receiving asystole. Start an IV of D5 and WKVO and administer an inserted esophageal oral airway and bag the patient. Advise me when the IV is started.
Okay, 1682 repeating IV D5 WKVO, esophageal aspirator airway, and bag the patient.
That's affirmative. Standing by.
That's it.
5,
18.
2, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 2, 5, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4,
382 DVMC, be advised, IV is to initiate D5WKVO, ELA is in place, and we're currently assisting ventilation.
Okay, 1682, administer 2 amps of bicarbonate and 1 amp of epinephrine IV.
Okay, 1682 repeating, 2 amps sodium bicarb, 1 amp epinephrine.
That's affirmative.
Giving a medication to this blood clot.
2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000,
We can see it on the monitor here.
1,000, 5, 1,000, 1,000, 2, 1,000.
That's all perfect. That's all perfect. That's all perfect.
2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000.
down.
1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 1, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4.
Now why don't you switch?
1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000.
4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 1, 1,000, 2, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 1, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000.
6810 DVMC, setting by carbon epinephrine on board.
What's his name?
That's affirmative. Are you sending me a strip now?
Okay. He's got shorts on? All right.
1682, I copy ventricular fibrillation. Defibrillate the patient with 400 watt seconds.
1682, repeating defibrillation 400 watt seconds. Stand by.
Ready to defibrillate? Clear? Clear.
What did they do?
I don't know.
All right, 1682 DVMC, we reach conversion to a third degree block. All right, 1682 confirming.
Take vitals again.
Pulse about 40.
60?
60.
60.
1682 to DVMC. Vitals, systolic pressure of 60, rate of 40 and irregular. Right, 1682 confirming. 0.5 milligrams atropine IV.
Back on here. Back on here.
An isopropyl drip.
Back bag them again.
2 milligrams in 500.
Back.
We have a pulse on that, just hit the arm.
Hold off on the compressions for all. Just keep bagging every 5 seconds. Slide it up again.
Is this helping him?
Yes, we're helping him. Just relax, it's going to be fine.
Back. Yep.
regular entropy on board?
Let's see what that, 30, 60.
Oh, we got 140.
I don't have any. Okay, we have blood pressure 90 over 60.
Yeah.
We have a rate of 40 and irregular.
Okay, administer another 0.5 milligrams of atropine IV and prepare to transport the patient.
Okay, 1682 repeating, 0.5 milligrams atropine IV, prepare to transport.
That's fine. Does the patient have any spontaneous respirations?
That's negative at this time.
Okay, continue to bag the patient.
1682 for 1682, 0.5 milligrams atropine IV has been initiated. To be preparing to transport. Our ETA is approximately 20 minutes.
That's for, I'll be standing by 1682.
Maybe Sam, maybe better get out this way.
That letter ready? This way.
Yeah, like we take it.
Okay, keep bagging, Linda. Okay, ready on 3. 1, 2, 3.
They sure do.
That's good, that's good. We'll be discontinuing telemetry and transport to the ambulance. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That's good. Which room? I don't know.
I think right on the back.
Okay, which room?
Is there anybody with the patient?
Still in second degree.
Still in second degree, okay. Let's get him bag him. Just get him over.
Start at 10 a.m.
Or First monitor, what's the IV?
The whole board? Yep.
Ready? One, two, three,
go.
Okay.
He's gonna need a lane. All right.
Okay, battle skip, high flow.
Get an IV.
Group, start an IV.
Okay.
Am I listening for breath sounds?
Have a dopamine drip, please. 0.5 of atropine, IV.
That's
Drip,
a
you got
tape.
atropine?
Tape is
Yeah,
too
hook 'em
big.
up, give me a 12 lead. Have a blood gas, please. Okay, run the dopamine 45 drops. Marion, call the unit, get a bed in the unit.
If blood gas kicks?
There's blood gas.
You know what religion he is? Anybody know?
Continue the back.
Atropine given.
His color's been pretty good the whole way.
Good. What happened?
He was jogging with his son, and he just went down.
Station started to assist.
Ray? Ray? Just relax, Ray.
Take some deep breaths.
Deep breaths.
That's right.
His color's getting better.
Okay, good. We'll get ready to move him up in a minute. Hold the elevator, Marion. All right, Ray. Take some deep breaths.
Good,
Are
good.
you having any pain, Ray? Okay.
Always cleared.
What's the IV situation? Hey, feel Ray?
Very good, Doc. How am I doing?
Doing pretty good.
With Dr. Strosky, 2352.
Doctor, am I going to be all right?
You'll be fine, Ray. Thanks to your son who knew CPR.
Take care, Ray. See you later, Doc.
Thanks, guys.
What you have just seen is a reenactment of a real-life situation involving a cardiac emergency. It was performed by the members of the Penndel-Middletown Emergency Squad. As you can see, CPR is a very important aspect of this film. To learn how you can learn CPR, Dave will give you further information.
To learn the technique of CPR, you can contact either our organization, the Penndel-Middletown Emergency Squad, at 547-5222, or the local branch of your American Heart Association. Also, to have this film brought to your group to be shown, you can also contact our organization at 547-5222, and we will bring the film out to you with a representative of our organization to show it and answer your questions.